Hello and welcome to the Bilgecast Wrestling Roundup. We're a little late this week. I'm Ollie Johnson. With me, as always, are Sam and Ian. How you doing, guys?
Hey. I'm good.
Hey, I'm good.
I'm cool. Cool. Yeah. So, how y'all feeling today? Good.
Well, it's been a very full week of wrestling,
Yeah.
but then again, it seems to be every week.
I'm slightly put out. My local convenience store at the petrol station, right? They had this offer on two little 500 milliliter bottles of Iron Brew Extra for £2. And y'all know I love me some Iron Brew, but I go in there's one bottle left, which creates one of two situations. Either they started a 2 for £2 offer on an odd number of stock, or someone walked in and just took one. And in either case, my question is the same. Why would you do this terrible thing to me, you evil bastard?
Well, I still feel bad for the fact that I liked Iron Brew before they decided to cut the sugar from it.
Well, the sugar version is still there.
Yeah, but not the one with the amount of sugar it should have had. It's no longer a true Iron Brew. Fuck Jamie Oliver and his rat-infested restaurants.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think he might. I don't know what he's got against sugar. I'm worried that he might have been sexually assaulted as a child by a bag of Tay and Lay.
I'm just bear with me. I'm getting the come on. Bear with me. I'm just trying to get the results page up because since I've discovered that I could do that, I haven't bothered writing down the results as I watch it, because frankly this podcast feels enough like work for me. Well, where are... Did they change the website recently?
I don't know.
Right, preview, highlights. Oh, that's tonight. Right. Hi. Sorry, I just want to get the Raw results so that we can move on.
You can
Oh,
move on.
Raw past results. November 4th, that's the one. Excuse me. Right. Yep, got it. Team Red strikes back as NXT attempts takeover. Right. Well, I'll get to Raw. Sam can cover NXT.
And Ian can judge everything.
Yes.
And then ask them why they smoke.
Yeah. And I might throw in some little bit of trivia here and there.
Yeah. Oh, I was watching a Cultaholic video earlier. Apparently, Dolph Ziggler threatened to quit the company earlier this year. Mid Goldberg thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. That was around the time he
was pushing for a longer match. It was like, give me 2 minutes, and he got one. Yeah. At the time, I was actually sort of getting into Dolph Ziggler, so he does what he does very well.
He does.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, so what happened on Raw this week? I watched it. I just, I mostly remember flashes. I'll remember more when I read the results. Okay. Well, Brock Lesnar comes out and basically challenges and goes looking for Rey Mysterio. Was it this week he just sort of tore apart the backstage area?
Yeah, he basically just murdered everybody backstage.
Yeah.
Looking for Rey Mysterio.
And pulled the door off a car for no reason. Just to be a dick. Anyway, Rey Mysterio comes out and breaks his legs with a pipe. Which I thought was really funny. I don't know why.
Because you think the idea of Brock Lesnar anyone being taken down with an inanimate object is hilarious. Personally, you'd find it funny if Rey Mysterio and all the cruiserweights jumped on him with little knives and started shivving him.
And then, like, Rey clocks him with the title belt and, like, knocks him down. Cool, it's selling their title match. Drama demands that Rey is seen to stand some sort of chance. He's not gonna win.
He's not, especially after breaking his legs.
Charlotte Flair and Natalya defeated the Kabuki Warriors.
Oh, boo.
I mean, I like Charlotte Flair and Natalya, but these are the tag team champions. I kind of think they should have won.
Yeah, because they're an actual tag team.
Yeah. Buddy Murphy defeated Cedric Alexander. I like both these people. Was a good match.
Yeah, Buddy Murphy's, really done well since, he got involved in that Daniel Bryan storyline. In fact, he's the only one who really managed to get anything out of it.
Yeah, and he was there by accident.
Yeah, he was, all due to an accidental post on social media.
Yeah. No, I like Buddy Murphy. I'm glad he did well out of that.
Me too.
Yeah. Triple H and the NXT roster confronted Seth Rollins. Yeah, and they basically, that's what it says on the website. What actually happened was Seth Rollins comes out and cuts a promo, and he says, like, for once I don't know what's next. Because he's lost the Universal title, and so has Raw, as a result.
Yes.
So, alright, we've established that as a rule now. If a champion loses their title to someone on a different show, that title becomes the property of that show.
Yes.
Yeah. Watch WWE do something completely different. Oh, the stream health is not good.
Oh dear.
Oh, wow. I don't even, I'm assuming we can be heard, but let's just carry on. There's not much we can do. And Triple H comes out and says, every time you don't know what's next, you come to me and great things happen.
Debatable.
And, well, that's basically the crux of that promo.
Yeah, oh yeah, though we can't forget the fact that, the Undisputed Era came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the NXT guys came out, because of course they did, but then so did the OC, and that caused,
and Seth Rollins was very pointedly not getting involved in the conflict. And then he goes to Triple H and says, you want me on NXT, I'm coming down there as the top guy. I want to challenge for the NXT title.
Yeah, he pretty much said he was better than Daniel Bryan and that he wanted to be on he said he wanted to get, the guy who... Sorry. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah, he did the entire thing of he pretty much gets a title shot because he asks for one. He's gotten to John Cena level.
Yeah, but he at least acknowledges it.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's not as good as he thinks he is. He's honestly, lately, he did make the comment and acknowledge that, yeah, fans were glad that he lost. However, we all know his reasoning for why he thinks the fans hate him.
Fickle! Fickle!
In reality, and this is just my opinion, I think he's become like Shawn Michaels was in the 90s. He thinks he's a ton better than he actually is. He's extremely disrespectful to, well, most of the people around him. And he's now, well, he is a company yes man. He will defend everything horrible the company does regardless, because he's in a position where he's not suffering what everyone else is. Just ask Luke Harper.
Right.
He's, well, let's face it, taking social media away from him might be the smartest thing. But I'm glad he didn't win the NXT title, though.
Yeah.
Because Adam Cole actually, really worked hard to get that belt and really put on some great matches.
The matches I've seen with these, with the top guys, have been great. Yeah. And I saw Bobby Fish versus Kyle O'Reilly once in WCPW, back when it was called that.
Yeah. The point is that Adam Cole worked his ass off to get that belt. It was quite a long time before he got it. Seth kind of won his belt via, well, a quick curb stomp of Brock Lesnar because Brock didn't want to work a full show.
Right.
Well, let's face it, Seth's run was kind of shit to begin with, but a lot of that was down to them putting him with Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
Poor bastard.
Okay then, Andrade and Zelina Vega, mixed tag match, defeated Sin Cara and Carolina in a mixed tag team match. I already said that.
Yeah, Carolina's already gone back down to NXT from what I've heard.
Well, that was quick.
Yeah, I know, right? She was there for a cup of coffee.
Like, why does WWE just sort of stop-start everything? Like, why can't they just pick something to do and see it through before they call it off? Like,
because Vince likes to rewrite things like a few minutes and hours before the show is even meant to go on air, so nobody knows what's going on. It's a mystery to everyone what's going to happen, even the people working on the show.
Right. And of course, there's not much they can do about it because Vince is in charge.
Insane and in charge.
Yeah. Vince McMahon is a cartoon character of a man, isn't he?
He is.
He is. He's really out of touch with the world. He's completely insane. The craziest things make him angry.
Yeah, sneezing, I've heard.
Sneezing, smiling, not eating ketchup on your meals, wearing a scarf,
Yeah.
or being better than him at something. Do you think he fired someone once for playing with a yo-yo when he could actually do all the tricks, but Vince couldn't, so he fired him?
It sounds like something like if I were to hear of that happening, I wouldn't immediately dismiss it out of hand.
Yeah, because Vince's behaviour. You've even read the stories, like some stories that have been shared of just Vince's craziness.
Yeah. You know what? I would watch that reality show, just a day in the life of Vince McMahon. And I hate reality TV, but I would watch that.
Only because you know that Vince is completely out of control and insane.
Yeah.
Okay, but in the intro, they've got to show things like him actually running the company, and then towards the end of it, show the eccentric things like him yelling at people, and then at one point him just in his underwear screaming while they're trying to take him down with trank darts.
Alright, back to Raw then. Why is it that Drew McIntyre seems to be everybody's go-to hired gun these days? Because can they really think of so little else to do with him? Because Rusev comes out, then challenges Bobby Lashley to a fight. He says, if you want Lana, you can have her, but I want to, I'm going to kick your ass. You'll leave me no choice. I'm afraid I'm going to have to kick your ass. But in Russian. Well, no, not in Russian, in Bulgarian. So Lana and Bobby Lashley come out. Bobby Lashley's on fucking crutches, and I know that's not how you walk on crutches because I've used crutches.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh, I tore my groin while I was fucking your wife."
They are actually going there.
Yeah, and then they said, "I'm gonna get Drew McIntyre to fight you instead." Why did he agree to this? What's in it for Drew? What is his stake in this? It's just never addressed.
I don't know. I don't know why he does this, because at one point he was murdering Dolph Ziggler and going towards, being a world champion. He even took out Braun Strowman, and then he was suddenly Baron Corbin's hired gun,
Yeah.
along with Bobby Lashley.
Oh.
If you remember, Baron Corbin would have Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre try and murder Braun Strowman.
Oh yeah, yeah. Alright, so Rusev's about to win. Bobby Lashley whacks him with a crutch. Disqualification. You know, that old chestnut. I could not. You could not pay me to give a shit about this show. In fact, I don't actually blame either of you for not watching Raw. Because, like, I'm not getting paid or watched enough to keep putting myself through this. NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler confronts Becky Lynch during a sit-down interview. That was interesting.
That was a good one. I will agree.
Yeah. I liked that. I'm looking forward to their inevitable match.
I liked how they brought up Ronda Rousey through the entire thing.
Yeah.
Paid, knowledge to that.
And Shayna Baszler says,
then...
I'm not Ronda Rousey, I'm going to kick your ass. Subtly implying that Shayna Baszler is better than Ronda Rousey.
In the ring, yes, Shayna is better.
Yeah.
And they made the whole thing of, yeah, I'm not going to take my eye off Bailey, but I'm coming after you.
Humberto Carrillo teams up with the Street Profits, but they are defeated by the OC. I like that they're pushing the OC right at the moment. Their whole best tag team in the world thing. I think if they keep riding that, they can really do something with it and actually do something with one of those Saudi Arabia trophies.
It's sad that Humberto guy is basically now 0-3.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually mind that because they still book him really strong, and WWE don't normally know how to do this, have someone lose well. But Humberto Carrillo seems to be managing it, at least for now. But I think he does need to get a win. Yeah. Raw...
The most he's won is a non-canon Battle Royal.
Right, it says here, like, did the Viking Raiders beat, like, a local jobber team, or... Like, the Viking Raiders defeated the East Hampton Polo Boys. That's not a name I'm familiar with, so...
Yeah, I think they're local talent.
Yeah. And then...
Tune in next week when the Viking Raiders will fight the Ghetto Avenue Street Boys.
Yeah. Seth Rollins versus Adam Cole, baby, for the NXT title. And it's going like... It's a really good match up until it isn't, and Seth Rollins wins by DQ.
Yeah, they should have let Adam Cole win clean again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Seth can take a loss at this point, I think. I mean, he lost to The Fiend, but then, like, that's The Fiend, that's different.
The thing is, at this point, you're trying to sell us on NXT.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point here. And I think that having Adam Cole win strengthens NXT a bit.
Yeah.
And Seth can afford the loss, as you said. He doesn't really need it. He doesn't really need the win at this point. Plus, the fans hate him anyway, so, cheers all round.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, apparently 205 Live isn't actually going anywhere.
Good.
It's going to stick around. And I've got to watch that. Well, I haven't got to watch that. Like, there's too much wrestling anyway. Right. And I'm going to get the results for Smackdown in Manchester up.
I'll get NXT done.
Okay. So, Sam, lead us through NXT, if you please.
The OC turn up and basically murder the Undisputed Era and get in the ring. They're not going to let WWE. They're not going to let the NXT guys just come to Raw and SmackDown and have all the fun. They're going to be there. This is AJ Styles' first time in NXT, by the way. Tommaso Ciampa then comes out. They challenge each other, and then Matt Riddle and Keith Lee come out. They're setting up a 6-man tag match for the main event. Pete Dunne fights Damian Priest. That's a feud apparently that's happening at this point. Damian Priest, a new guy, and they're getting ready for the women's War Games match. But because Rhea Ripley needs to pick team members, so what happens is that Dakota Kai tries to wrestle Shayna Baszler and gets her ass kicked, because of course she does. But Mia Yim apparently does a really good job and impresses her enough that, well, Rhea Ripley allows Mia Yim, who is a South Korean wrestler, by the way, she's very good. And she's like, Rhea's like, I'm really sorry, Dakota, but, I'm going to pick Mia. And then she just, goes off in a huff. Main event of Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, and Matt Riddle wrestle the OC. It goes quite well. Up until Finn Balor comes out, interrupts Tommaso Ciampa, and then AJ Styles then hits a Pele kick, goes to hit his finisher, but then Adam Cole comes out and attacks. The match just goes into complete chaos, because apparently now they're not... I don't think anyone knows who Finn Balor's with at this point.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely against Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, though they're not really sure where he stands with the Undisputed Era. That's basically about all there was with NXT.
Right.
Well, of any note, anyway. The rest were just kind of throwaway matches.
Huh.
Going on to SmackDown, then, I guess.
Okay. Right. And SmackDown begins happening to us. Now, SmackDown was alright. Baron Corbin threw childish insults at Roman Reigns. This is a thing that was allowed on TV. Not that it shouldn't have been, it's just kind of dumb. The New Day defeated the Revival and became 7-time WWE World Tag Team Champions, or SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
It doesn't matter. They've still got multiple runs with the belts, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Well, oh, right, shit, yeah, okay, so, the New Day are Tag Team Champions again, cool, but to have Kofi in the main event for so long, and then just shove him down like that, I can't say I like it. I'm glad he's a champion of some sort again, but... And, well, obviously Xavier Woods is injured for now, so it's a 2-man team. So it's a logical choice, but I don't know. To me, it just kind of feels like they've just shoved Kofi back down into what Vince imagines his place is.
I could make a joke here, but I won't.
Yeah, best not.
But I will say this: what if, and this is WWE logic, what if Xavier Woods came back and won the WWE title, and Vince thinks it'd be a hilarious thing to have Xavier and Kofi Kingston fighting over the title?
Right.
I think it'd be a stupid idea, but unfortunately, I can see Vince's logic with it.
Yeah. Right. I'm already losing motivation to continue. Let's get through this. No.
Let's not forget that on this week's SmackDown, Tyson Fury turned up.
Yes, he did. Imperium blindsided Heavy Machinery.
Yes, Imperium, who has Walter, all in capital letters.
Yeah. Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro defeated Chad Gable and Ali as Daniel Bryan looked on.
Shorty G.
Chad Gable?
Shorty G.
That's not his name. It's Dom.
That was Doink the Clown, but that's his name.
Yeah, but that's an actual gimmick. Doing something ironically is still doing it.
Look, I don't like them calling him Shorty G either. I think it's the stupidest thing ever, but there we go.
Yeah. So yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro defeated Chad Gable and Ali as Daniel Bryan watched on. And there seems to be a Daniel Bryan recruitment thing going on. And I actually kind of like where this is going and where I imagine this is going.
It might be a Survivor Series thing.
Yeah. And then, Sami Zayn is going to Daniel Bryan and goes, "You don't want to go backwards and do the yes chant thing again." And he's like, "Stand together with us. We'll take care of you." And then the Fiend appears and chokes out Daniel Bryan. We still haven't seen the Universal title since he won it, though. So if he's got a custom belt design, we still have yet to see it, and I'm quite looking forward to that.
I should also point out that right after this, Bray Wyatt put a picture of back when he was Bray Wyatt. He was, recruiting Daniel Bryan into the family.
Yeah. And then, I think I know where this is going to go vis-a-vis the Daniel Bryan recruitment thing, because if you watch this, you'll probably notice, as soon as the Fiend appears, Sami Zayn is out of there. He could not have bolted quick enough. So, Daniel Bryan's probably going to use that as his reasoning to not join them, because where were you when I was attacked by the Fiend? You were right there, and you just fucking ran and left me to it.
Yeah. There are talks on who the Fiend's opponent will be, and some of the names they've brought up are curious.
Right.
One of them is the Velveteen Dream.
I don't think Velveteen Dream has had enough main roster experience for that yet.
True.
Please don't ruin him when you bring him up.
Apparently, Randy Orton has signed his contract with WWE for a few more years. However, he did pitch a faction idea, and Vince turned it down.
Right.
He wanted to create a faction of himself and the Revival called FTRKO.
FTRKO?
Yeah.
What does FT stand for?
Well, the Revival say the Forever the Revival. However, it's actually a joke that Cody Rhodes did, which was fuck the Revival. That WWE actually sent them a legal letter about at one point. Basically asking Cody Rhodes to not say fuck the Revival on his shows anymore.
I see.
I have some news on Kenny Omega as well. I'll save till the AEW thing, but it's dashed the hopes of a New Japan deal.
Right. Well, let's get to that because I'm I'm flagging on WWE interest, like, by the minute.
Yeah, all his balls are kind of twitching for AEW.
Sasha Banks defeats Nikki Cross. This was Sasha Banks' return match. She was always going to win. Now, this match in particular, I noticed as being really good. Sasha Banks and Nikki Cross work really well together. There was a real sense of a flow there. Like, not a movement nor a moment was wasted. It was a very good match. They work very well together. More of that, please.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Shayna Baszler blindsides Bayley, who blindsided Nikki Cross. Who herself blindsided... No, she didn't. And then Tyson Fury comes out and Braun Strowman... And they're friends now, like, for some reason. And then the B team come out and they beat them up.
For reasons.
Yeah. And, like, Tyson Fury's work punches need work. They're not Shane McMahon bad, but, you know. Carmella and Dana Brooke defeated Fire and Desire for some reason.
Yeah, Fire and Desire really aren't doing well, are they?
No, they're not. And then Roman Reigns...
I have a theory on why they're not doing well, but, you know, you got to remember that Fire and Desire are the two people that Vince McMahon called so boring that they weren't worth putting into a feud with Asuka.
Huh.
They're losing to Corey Graves' girlfriend.
Right, and thanks to outside interference to some degree and a distraction, Baron Corbin beat Roman Reigns. Which is just lovely to close SmackDown on, isn't it? Like...
I would say this, that Baron Corbin is the absolute worst big man in wrestling history.
I don't disagree.
No, when you think of the big men of wrestling, I think of Vader, Andre the Giant, The Big Show, Kane, Undertaker. This is a guy who's terrified of people who are a few inches taller than him.
Yeah.
And he needs help because he hasn't got the strength to actually be the big guy to beat up anyone.
Right.
Well, think about it. In his last big feud with Braun Strowman, he actually needed the help of, two other big men to do it.
Yeah. Okay, and that was SmackDown. Now, I don't remember much of AEW Dynamite, to be honest with you. It was all gearing up for Full Gear, and that's what I was focused on. I'll tell you what I do remember. Cody cut a promo saying that if he failed to win the title from Chris Jericho at Full Gear, he would never challenge for it again.
Wow.
And that took me by surprise, because it's...
I've already thought of at least a loophole.
And what is that?
He can't challenge for it, but what if he turns heel in a few years' time, and something happens and he presents himself with the title?
Yeah, he could do that.
But before I forget the news, apparently someone asked Nick Jackson about if New Japan would ever do some works with AEW, and he said that's like 0% chance of that ever happening. Apparently, Kenny Omega was banned. New Japan's been trying to get Kenny Omega banned from Japan.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, they do not take friendly to the whole AEW thing. However, they are more than willing to do deals with Chris Jericho and Jon Moxley. Oh, speaking of, Jon Moxley has been stripped of the US title in New Japan, so that's a thing.
Yeah, they strip people of titles really, like, strictly in Japan, don't they? I've heard that if you can't make a show for whatever reason, and there has to be a title match, you're not the champion anymore. Like,
that's good.
Yeah, that they will. If you can't make your defense, you're not the champion. You're stripped of the title, And I can sort of see why. I can kind of get behind that, but also, come on. Like, I mean, if
it's beyond their control, it's kind of a bomb deal, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So apparently, because Kenny Omega wanted to work a show for DDT, I've talked about DDT a few times with you.
Yeah.
That's the promotion that has the blow-up doll. They would let Chris Jericho in, but apparently they kept trying to stop him getting into the country, and they've apparently tried this at least 3 or 4 times. He gets in, but apparently New Japan are really working towards trying to stop him getting back into Japan.
Right. How so?
I don't know exactly the details, but Nick Jackson mentioned that Kenny keeps having trouble getting back into Japan, and it's New Japan's interference in some capacity.
How can they do that?
I don't know, actually. I'm going to have to look into it, but apparently New Japan have been trying to stop him getting in. They never succeed, but they're not exactly happy with him working back in Japan anymore.
Well, that seems unreasonable. Yeah.
But anyway, but I'm sure. Look, Kenny's going to get fucked even more tonight. Well, on the Full Gear show, so let's go with that.
Yep. Well,
Kenny's on somewhat of a losing streak recently.
Yeah. The Young Bucks aren't really doing that well in AEW, are they?
None of them are really. The ones that you'd expect to be doing well aren't doing well in terms of wins and losses.
Yeah.
I think this might be a whole thing to show that they're not just trying to put themselves over in their own company. But even so, I think there has to be a limit.
Yeah. So on the pre-show for Full Gear, Dr. Britt Baker defeated Bea Priestley by submission, only for Brandy Rhodes to come out with Awesome Kong, beat her down, and steal a lock of her hair with a knife. She scalped her. Sort of.
We need that to be a t-shirt now.
Yeah.
Scalped her.
Now, Santana and Ortiz have been named Proud and Powerful. That's the team name there.
Very 80s. I'm suddenly being reminded of Power and Glory.
Yeah. Now, Full Gear was a great show, guys. Like, I mean, I've probably annoyed you being all on you to watch it, but it was really good. Sorry?
We believe you, Ollie.
So, most of the matches on Dynamite were sort of variations on Full Gear matches in some capacity. So let's just skip to Full Gear. In the opening match of the actual show, Proud and Powerful defeated the Young Bucks. This was a brilliant match. It went on for 21 minutes, and I did not feel a single one of them. And there was one point where, there was no super kick party, but one of the Bucks injured one of their knees. I can't remember which one, and couldn't get them up for like a double team. So the other one literally picked him up and put him on top of the turnbuckle in position for, I think, another one of their double teams.
The Meltzer Driver, I think it's called.
Yeah. But then that fell through. So even with the injured knee, one of them just keeps roundhousing both members of Proud and Powerful. And, well, at one point, one of the Bucks spat his gum at them, and he picked it, and the guy he spat the gum at picked it up and put it in his mouth to chants of "you sick fuck," and then later he spat the gum back at him.
Gross.
Yeah. I've heard Proud and Powerful compared to the Steiner brothers. I don't know whether I see it yet, but I just thought I'd let you know that is a comparison I have heard.
Well, we'll wait till one of them wants to break into your house and shit in it.
Yeah. Well, I don't really feel the need to talk that much about Dynamite, because at the moment you can pretty much trust that AEW is a consistently good show. And, yeah.
Well then, let's move on to
So
the
yeah,
rest of the show.
Proud and Powerful have defeated the Young Bucks, and that's why I say they're not doing as well as you'd expect them to, are they?
No.
I mean, have they won yet?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to look at their win-loss record next time I see it. But how do you guys feel about? I don't know. I'll ask you that when I get there. So, and the next match on the card was Hangman Adam Page versus the Bastard Pack. This is actually what he goes by.
I know, I love it.
You're a bastard, Pack. Yeah, and it was also a very good match. Brutal. Like the way that Pack can miss that corkscrew like body press thing he does. I forget what he calls it.
It was originally called the Red Arrow.
The Red Arrow. Like there was once when he missed it and it looked so fucking painful. Like he really sold that, and yeah, there's I don't know what to say about this match. It was a really good back and forth match. It was the tiebreaker for the two of them. Adam Page is the victor, and I am excited to see what both of these people do next, because presumably they're going to move on from each other. Sean Spears, with Tully Blanchard, defeated Joey Janela.
Sean Spears had a No More Garbage Wrestling T-shirt.
Yeah,
I'm sure that Jim Cornette would love that.
And then Joey Janela ripped it off to give him more effective chest chops. Yep. And that was also very good. Lots of flippy shit on the part of Joey Janela, to quote Simon Miller. Flippy shit.
Well, it's kind of what Joey Janela does.
Yep. And, well, I've already, like, Sean Spears, you could already be forgiven for forgetting he was Ty Dillinger.
Well, good for him.
Or Stan.
Look, if it works for him, then I'm all for it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a pretty good heel victory. I'm excited to see where this goes for him. Triple threat for the tag team titles. SCU versus the Lucha Brothers versus Private Party, who were the standout teams in the tag tournament. Now, you may remember Christopher Daniels was injured. Sort of.
I do remember that.
Of SCU by the Lucha Brothers. And, like, towards the end of the match, or it may have been after the match, I can't really remember, Pentagon Jr., the lights go out, and there are two Pentagon Juniors in the ring, and, like, one of them's acting as a mirror, and then he hits the... What was it, the angel wings or something?
Yeah, it was the angel wings that Christopher Daniels used.
Yeah. And Pentagon Trace, as they were, was revealed to be none other than Curry Man. Seriously, when is Curry Man coming to AEW?
I would love it if they brought his Curryman character over.
But yeah, it's Christopher Daniels. Big pop. They retain the titles. Awesome. Right, now, sleeper hit of the night for me, Riho versus Emi Sakura. What do you guys think of Riho?
I think she needs more time for the fans to get to know who and what she is.
I like Riho. And I really liked Emi Sakura in this match.
Well, Emi Sakura, from what I understand, was the woman who trained her.
Yeah, they really leaned into that for the commentary in this match. But Emi Sakura is just like a massive Freddie Mercury fan. And she came to the ring, and she did on Dynamite as well, with a mic stand, with like wearing a fake mustache, just Freddie Mercury cosplay. And then when she had Riho in sort of a what's that hold called when you're on your back and they're sort of entangled in your limbs above you? You know what I'm talking about?
I know which one you're talking about. I just don't know.
And she was doing that, and I think she was going, no! Emi Sakura being a Freddie Mercury fan is just, that's amazing. I don't know why, but I find that so entertaining.
Well, to be fair, I mean, some wrestlers do like to imitate us. I mean, let's again keep in mind that Shinsuke Nakamura based a lot of his look and his movements and everything he did on Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And I think that, to a degree, Dalton Castle based some of his thing on Freddie Mercury.
There's a difference between like influence and cosplay, though.
I know.
Yeah, but yeah, they've got some real chemistry there. Really good back and forth throughout the match. It's the shortest match so far, I think. Like, it's definitely one of the shorter ones. Oh wait, no, I'm looking at the times. It's not the shortest match. It felt pretty short to me because they've been wrestling long for most of the card thus far. And well, Riho wins. I like Riho, and she's currently like, and that extends her record to I think 4-0, possibly 5-0.
Nice.
Yeah, and like she wins with like some sort of roll-up combination, because well, Emi Sakura is clearly more powerful. And then so yeah, Riho wins, all good, and like I really enjoyed that match, and then technically the main event happened. So, yeah, Chris Jericho, La Champion, on his 49th birthday, no less, with Jake Hager, defending his AEW World Championship against Cody with MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Now, this match was, I mean, it was really good, but I don't know how I feel about it, because, well, Cody does something early on that has him injured. They have that thing where the entrance ramp goes right up to the apron, yeah?
Yeah.
And Cody just sort of tries a suicide dive over the ropes, and he misses and lands on the entrance ramp, and I think he actually injured himself.
Yeah, I have seen the bruise.
Yeah. And so he was bleeding, like, since then. Obviously, they briefly pause the match so that the referee can, like, clean the cut and, see whether Cody's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point on, Chris Jericho is just targeting the bleeding eye, and then, like, and Cody actually manages to get a few near falls in, and it's a really long, almost 30-minute match. And for all of it, Chris Jericho is dominating. He's never quite on the back foot. And then, towards the end of the match, I mean, Cody gets his flurries in, obviously, but the overriding theme is that Jericho has him where he wants him.
Of course.
And then
the veteran.
he puts him in the walls of Jericho, and he manages to get out. And then he puts him in the Lion Tamer, stamps on his head, kneels on his head, and then twists his back so much that, like, oh my god, it looks like it would hurt a contortionist. Like, I don't know if you saw the last seconds of that match. At which point, MJF throws in the towel. Like, he literally throws in a white towel, and the referee counts that as a technical submission.
Yeah, they did a similar thing with Bob Backlund with Bret Hart at one point, where Owen threw a towel in for Bret when he didn't want it.
Yeah.
To get him to submit and lose the WWE title to Bob Backlund.
Yeah, and as we heard from Dynamite, this means that Cody Rhodes is now ineligible to ever challenge for the AEW World Title again.
Well,
and
damn.
So MJF is on his knees in tears, saying, "Cody, I'm sorry. I just couldn't keep watching that." And like, to be fair, Cody couldn't move. Like, he was like, he wasn't getting out of that hold. Like, and JR's playing out like, did he do the right thing? I don't know. And then it looks like Cody's saying, "Look, it's all right. I understand." And then MJF kicks him in the balls, and sort of like,
why MJF?
Yeah, he was already healed technically. And then he sort of just, like, casually walks to the back, and then a fan throws a drink over him. And I think it was a full one, because it was a lot of liquid that coursed over him. And he just turned around, sort of in surprise, smiled, and then walked back off. I don't know if that was a plant or if it was spontaneous, but it was carried off really well.
MJF's one of the best heels in the business.
Yeah. Oh. It's like, why do you need WWE when AEW exists? Like, yeah. So, we've not had anyone comment. Okay. And then we're on to a match that didn't officially happen, but is our main event of the evening, and the longest match on the card. A lights out.
Also, the match that basically divided a lot of people.
An unsanctioned lights out match, Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega. And, like, I like the match. I think it was good. I think it went on too long. I think you could have done with, like, a 10-minute match between Riho and Jericho. Jericho wins. Obviously, he goes back and celebrates with a little bit of the bubbly. So, yeah, happy 49th birthday, Le Champion. Oh, he also had a weight belt like Cody Rhodes with Le Champion written on it.
Chris Jericho can get anything over. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, like, Chris Jericho is one of the best in the business at everything he does.
Chris Jericho could literally come out wearing pink boots, and he would get the boots over.
Yeah, I mean, people booed him when he said, "I'm the best in the world at what I do." He wasn't lying.
I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
No, he really is that good.
I agree.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't like the never challenge for the title again thing. I understand it, but like, I mean, I'm glad that Chris Jericho's title reign didn't end now. I think it's still got a lot of steam left. I don't know. I had hoped that at some point Cody would be a world champion.
We all hoped.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know that he won't. Nothing's permanent in wrestling.
No.
But
I mean, this harkens back to a thing they do in 2K20. In the story mode, you can have a loser leaves Memphis match with Jerry Lawler.
yeah,
And even if you win it, you talk to him and say, "Look, I'm really sorry that I cost you your job. I mean, I know that Memphis is really important to you." And he goes, "I'm not going anywhere. Do you know how many times I've had a loser leave Memphis match? Well, not many, but we never signed anything. It's not on paper." And I don't think Cody signed anything.
no, he just verbally said he will never challenge for the title again if he didn't win it. Cody's cornerman MJF threw in the towel. And then MJF turns on him. He is going to get booed to hell next week on Dynamite.
He is, but he's not going to care because it's just what he does.
Right.
But we were talking about the main event match, which...
Yeah. I think, like, what are the people who don't like it saying? Because I thought it was pretty good, just that it was long.
Basically, a lot of people, well, the thing is, some people didn't like it saying it was too much. It was just too much, which is like, meh, really. It's not really much of an argument if you say it's too much violence in wrestling. To me, it's only too much violence if there is actually a threat to them.
Yeah, because
some people just said it's literally just showing off that it was more in Jon Moxley's favor because John can't work a good match. John is incapable of working a good match, an actual wrestling match. He can only work garbage matches because that's all he's ever known.
I've seen him work some good matches in WWE. So.
I've seen him work some okay matches. He had a good feud with Seth Rollins. Can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
But I will say that Kenny Omega I still maintain Omega is much better than Moxley is or ever has been. Mainly because I stick by it because I've seen all the stuff that Kenny's capable of. And I do think he did a great job in this kind of match, which, yes, it was a garbage wrestler. It was basically a hardcore garbage match.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, Sean Spears even made that point on Dynamite at one point that, he even did the whole shitting on Moxley thing, saying, you're going to actually have to do a real match at some point.
Yeah.
Where you don't have any of these stupid things.
Yeah. I wouldn't really worry. It was a good match. I think it went on a bit long. I think they went a little too far with the violence, not because it was too violent, but because, well, there comes a point where you stop believing it, because there was a point where Kenny Omega brought out some broken glass.
Yeah.
And there was barbed wire cuts all over the time, and there wasn't much blood. So, the glass was clearly fake. The barbed wire thing was, there was a few cuts and bruises. Now, I'm not saying I wanted to see him cut to ribbons. I'm just saying that you don't crawl through glass like that and not have your back shredded as a result. And that kind of, and I'm kind of like, well, if it's too much to do that, don't do it.
Well, the thing is that, again, Moxley doesn't really... The problem with Moxley overall is that I understand not giving some wrestlers a filter, letting them do their thing.
Yeah.
That's fine. Moxley, unfortunately, does not know when he's killing the match.
Yeah.
That's his problem with his garbage wrestling. Here's the thing. It's one thing when you hit someone with a chair and you do all these things, but you got to remember, this is a guy who, in wrestling, used power saws and, broken glass, drawing pins, everything he could. He even used stuff that would probably kill people.
Yeah.
Moxley doesn't understand, sometimes puts the drama up in a match to such a ridiculous degree that it does become completely unbelievable, and that's ultimately the thing that will kill him.
Yeah,
well,
that was the main problem with it, because when in wrestling, there's already a level of suspension of disbelief, and in hardcore matches, I kind of think do it properly or not at all. And if that means not at all, then don't do it.
I think that when it comes to wrestling in general, you
Like-
you make the point that you can never ever have a character. You never hear wrestlers actually try to kill each other, except in rare occasions, because it's the one thing they can never actually live up to.
Yeah.
It's the one thing they can never actually do. And the thing is that Moxley's entire thing is he's more comfortable and more at home, basically being a second-rate Mick Foley.
Huh. Well,
Basically, I think he's going to eventually become a victim of the problem that happened to Abyss.
I'm mostly saying that the barbed wire spider web and the glass were clearly fake. And
Yeah,
I'm not
look-
saying they should have used real ones. I'm saying maybe they shouldn't have bothered with that stunt.
Look, this was the equivalent, to be fair, of a major American promotion doing a death match.
Yeah.
This was the closest we'll get to an actual, Japanese death match.
Although, Moxley tearing apart the ring to expose the hardwood floor and then dropping him onto it on his head was a very good finishing touch.
Yeah.
I will say that.
I still think that Omega should have won the match at this point, because I don't know what they're planning to do with him. Whether they're planning to do a hot, because the thing seems to be that the Elite in general seem to not be on a good run.
Yeah.
Since
I think we're probably we're probably headed for an Elite heel turn, is what I think.
At this point, but I think that in the end, Moxley, I think getting away from WWE was a good idea, but the thing is, at the end of the day, his over-the-top violence thing can only last him so long.
Yeah. Right, well, I think that's all we've got time for on the show. I would recommend that you watch Full Gear if you haven't already. It was a great show. Frankly, watching Raw and Smackdown to prepare for this podcast has started to feel like homework, and I don't really want to do it. But nah, it'll be fine. What say we take a bit of a break from regularly scheduled programming next week?
Yeah. Okay.
How about, because, Ian, I've noticed you, do you have anything to say on Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega or any of that stuff we talked about?
It seems to be going well,
Yeah, so far.
Yeah.
Now, in order to, give us all something to talk about next week, instead of talking about the regularly scheduled programming and the week in wrestling, how about we talk about our top 10 moments in wrestling?
Okay.
Just our personal top 10 favourite moments in wrestling and why.
Okay.
Alright.
So I'm going to need you for next week to come up with 10 moments that you want to... ideally they are moments that you experienced while watching, for the first time.
Yeah.
With no historical context. So, you could say... Macho Man versus Ricky Steamboat at WrestleMania 3, and that would be a perfectly valid entry, but, ideally it's stuff you didn't already know was good beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Nicole looks like she has at least one.
Well, I have a few, but I think that some could be thrown into the same thing, into one category, because they're basically the same. They're basically all liked for the same reason.
Yeah. Well, when I say top 10 moments, I mean 10 big moments, not necessarily good ones, but I don't know, 10 things that either made you laugh or made you angry.
At the time were good things.
Yeah, or even just at the time was funny, because I know what one of mine is, and I think you're probably going to guess if I give you a clue. But, at the time I thought it was brilliant, even if the result of it wasn't good. Yeah.
I think if we want to stretch it out into a bit longer, we could also put in some of the things we did, some of our 10 moments we really didn't enjoy.
Yeah. Okay. How about 5 favorite moments and 5 worst moments?
Okay, that works because the five moments that we don't like is going to be the easiest thing because we're wrestling fans and we
That's
despise
true.
so much of what happens.
Wrestling
How
fans
about
and
that?
Star Wars fans are among them. Like, it's like, why are you watching? Yeah. Well, okay, yeah, I think that's a podcast. Raw and SmackDown just kind of happened. AEW, Full Gear was a great show. I think unless something groundbreaking happens in the next week, we don't need to talk about Raw or SmackDown, and probably even AEW. And well, we can give mention if it's important.
We give mention.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's all we got. And thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.
All right.
Bye.